My story is called The Carnival. My twin sister and I were 13 that year. We were new in Pleasanton, which was a sleepy cowboy town in 1963. And we lived with our father. Our mother had died a few years earlier. Now, I wore braces and glasses, and I was a bit of a dork. And I didn't have any friends in town. I had my sister, but sometimes you just don't like your sister very much. And I really wanted my own friends. And it'd been a long, hot, boring summer until the Alameda County Fair arrived in Pleasanton. And it was just down the street from our little house on West Angela. Now, somehow, and was very strict, we convinced our father to buy us each a 2-week pass. That meant we could go to the county fair any day, any time we wanted to. This is fabulous. Things were about to change. Daddy says, just be sure to stay together and stay in the main area. And most of all, stay away from the carnies. They're dangerous. Okay, we walked down to the fair and we could hear the roll of the calliope organ do 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 in the background with screams from the tilt-a-whirl, and clowns were walking around shaping balloons into dogs for kids. And beyond, I could see a maze of rides and games, and neon, and I could smell the 4-H building, and everywhere was the smell of popcorn. So we step in the front, and right at the front gate, we hear the barker, see the genuine Indian princess with a tomahawk and real scalps. Step into her teepee if you dare and meet the Indian princess, he announces. And I'm going, wow, a real Indian princess? Wow. Now, my sister wanted to go get a hot dog, so we split up. I'll meet you by the pony rides. I had seen the girl on a princess on the Roy Rogers show a few weeks ago, and I thought, oh, this is her. I bet this is her. So I stand there. I'm just bolted to the ground. And an older man has a feather headdress, and he's bent over and he's playing a drum, thump, thump, thump. And the princess steps out of the teepee. And she wore long braids, dark hair, a buckskin dress, and a feather. I said, oh, that looks just like the princess on the Roy Rogers show. I hope it's the same girl. And I was just transfixed. So I stayed to the end of the show. And then at the end of the show, the Indian princess walks over to me. She says, hi, I'm Cherokee. Do you live here? And she was around 16. You want to go get a snow cone? Sure. And off we went, and we talked about cute boys and traveling, and I saw Cherokee nearly every day of those 2 weeks. The first night we get home, my father says, so how was the fair? Fine, Daddy. Carol went on the pony rides and I watched the Indian princess. I didn't tell my father about Cherokee. Now, one day, I don't know if it is in all of the towns, but out here we have horse races at county fairs. And so we had a racetrack, and I was over there looking at the horses one day, and I met Bobby. He was a jockey. Now, he was very short. He was even shorter than me, so he didn't look like the 20 years old that he was. And he showed me around the stables and introduced me to his friends and introduced me to his horse, whose name was the Family Jewels. Now, in case you're worried, Bobby was always a gentleman, and he knew I was only 13. But, being a 13-year-old, I was convinced he was my boyfriend for those 2 weeks. But I didn't tell my father about Bobby either. The second week, Cherokee asked me, "You want to meet some real gypsies?" Ooh, that sounds exciting. Yeah, of course I do. I'm still excited about meeting a real Indian princess. And she, what your picture of gypsies are, right? Big, beautiful skirts and bandanas and stuff. So she took me to a family where they had one of those games with a ball. You throw a ball and you knock over stuff to get a prize. And the family's name was the Boswells. And they didn't look like the gypsies you see in the books, however. It was a little bit of a disappointment. They're wearing jeans and sweatshirts. And they had a boy named Bono who was about 14 or 15, and he had a big crush on Cherokee because he had us play, throw the balls and let us win a bunch of stuffed animals. It was great. I had a ton of stuff to take home. And his parents were just so nice. His mother was so interested in our care. Do you have enough food? Do you have enough money? Here's some tickets. Are you going to go and have a good time now? Don't forget. What a day. I was so excited. That was one of the best summers of my life. And I had to say goodbye to my Carney friends. And I know you're supposed to obey your parents, but if I had, I would have never had those wonderful 2 weeks at that summer at the county fair in 1963.